Hi everyone, I'm Django. I'm in charge of solution engineering at Toucan, and I'm here today to provide you a demo of the Toucan Studio to create dataset and chart with Toucan without code. So let's start with the documentation. That's our website. If you have any question about Toucan, you can ask or search a topic on the top right. And of course, you can search for tutorials or some help in this documentation. Let's start with the Toucan platform. Here you can see a lot of different applications, and we are going to dig into this sales performance app today to create new charts and diffuse data to your end user. As they are in a mobile or in a web application, you will be able to diffuse data to your customer or user. So let's dig this application, sales performance, and you can see that we arrive on what we call the home page. This home page is like macro numbers to say, okay, it's good, it's bad, it's green, it's red, and you can here see all your KPIs in one single page. Of course, if you have any question, you can dig into one KPI to arrive on what we call a home page like this one or this one. And you can see one or two charts with the ability to click on one data point and see the result just below. It's called the cross filter, and I will show you how to create this one. On the top, you can see also narratives and tips, and you can, of course, use our filters to dig a bit more into some data analysis problem with these filters. Okay, so on the left, you can see also some option to export the data or to embed your story as a web component to put this web component into your SaaS or customer platform. And of course, you can broadcast your data thanks to PDF or dashboard, even data walls to your end user. So I'm going to go back on this homepage and take my hat of like product expert, switching in staging mode in one click. You don't need to install anything. And you can see that here I'm in the studio and I can create new charts with Toucan without any code. So here you can see the charts part where you can create some charts and the Datahub on the side to connect your data, transform your data before creating any charts. But let's start with the customization menu here, where you can use the white label features to change the colors. You can use presets or use yours, of course. You can also change the fonts with import a new font or with or already presets one. And you can even write custom CSS if needed. The white label feature helps you also to change the brand, so you can change any images at the app level or at the platform level, and it's really easy to drag and drop images or import new assets. So let's start with the data. On the data, you will find two menus. The dataset one, where you can find all the datasets that are used in this application. You can, of course, see the lineage here, but you can see also the lineage clicking on the top right button here to see the data lineage from the source to the end dataset here. And you can even display the visualization or the filters to maintain really easily your application. Here it's the dataset menu, but before you need to connect your application to data sources, of course. So you have a button to add the connectors. We are working with hyperscalers to connect to BigQuery or to connect to Athena, Snowflake, and other connectors, of course. You have an API here, and we will use the PostgreSQL one. Okay, so you can, of course, add a file. You can add also different kind of distant folder. And here we are going to create a new dataset from Postgre, clicking on this orange button. So from Postgre, if you know SQL, that's a good news, but you can also create new datasets with Toucan without any code. So I can validate a database, clicking on this button, and I can write SQL here. But here I do not need to write SQL thanks to the native SQL feature. So on the tables here, I can select the deals Breezy, for instance, and preview my table. Then I can select it and select all the column I need for this demo or for my charts. So I can unselect ID, contact, account, for instance, and apply my selection. And right here, Toucan is writing SQL to your database to display the data, but you can also use YouPrep, which is our ETL we created within Toucan. So you can use different steps to filter the data, to aggregate data, to change dates, and to compute duration between dates. And you can even join dataset between different data sources or different datasets in Toucan. It's really easy to use, and I'm going, for instance, here, as in Excel or with the DAX syntax in Power BI, to change some business rules to adapt my dataset. So I'm going to remove the lost deals here, and I'm going to use the aggregate feature, which is like a group by in SQL, to group my data by email, sales email, and by sales step. Doing also, why not, the sum on the price, and I'm going to do a count on my dates. So I will have an aggregate dataset here with all the columns, with the sales email, the sales step, the price, the start deals, and I can, of course, rename the column. So, for instance, the number of deals. One feature that can help you is the conditional column, to create conditional column based on rules. So your own business rules, which can be smart or maybe more complex. With here formula, you can say, okay, I want to take, for instance, my price and divide by the number of deals. You can use different kind of option here in the drop-down and use the and order or in the conditional step. So I will let you explore all these steps, and it's pretty easy to use. So once you are happy with your dataset, you can create it and save this dataset as store. It will be stored into the Toucan data engine or the request the data in live. And in live, Toucan will call your database each time you are going to see a chart. So if you want to display into your own SaaS chart of Toucan, an embed one, and you want to display, for instance, the data for Paul or for Mary, you can use the live one and change the data queries based on the status of Paul or Mary, for instance, in live. So I will call this dataset live dataset. And I'm going to save it into the data. You can see this toaster, it's ready. I click on this dataset. I can see this dataset here. I can tag this dataset to maintain my application. I can see my dataset, and of course, I can create other datasets that are based on this one. So I can chain my data queries like that. Let's use this dataset right now in the charts part. So I'm going to add a new chapter, which I will call demo. So let's dig into the demo chapter, and you can see here the data storytelling framework of Toucan with one chart, with narratives, with filters on the top. You can pin or unpin filters, of course, and you can add tips also. So let's create a chart based on the live dataset we just create. Here, I'm going to select it and select the chart types with a bar chart by category. So my category will be the sales step, and my bar height will be the price. And thanks to our framework, you will be able to change precision. For instance, let's take this one. Let's add the units, like for instance, euros, and let's put some rules on the sentiment. Sentiment, is it good or is it bad? For instance, above 2 million, it's okay. And of course, this value can be dynamic. Let's save it. You will find other options like the order bar option here, and you can play with this option to make the charts look great. Okay. So on the top, you can add sum, for instance, the sum of the price, but you can select an average, of course, average basket here. And you can save it, you can delete it, and you can add another chart on the bottom based on another data set if you have columns in common, but you can use the same one. And this time we are going to select the leaderboard chart to select the sales email and the price also. And in one click, you will see that I will be able to link this chart with this one, clicking on the cross filter option to say, okay, if I click on the one step, I will have the best sales with one deals. And if I click on commit, I will have the best sales for the commit step. I can, of course, add filters here, like the sales step. You can create new filters, but you can also reuse filters. And with Toucan in the no-code studio here, you can apply steps in no-code, or you can do it in YouPrep, which was the previous step with the data preparation, thanks to the filter rows. I'm happy with this chart, so I'm going to save this chart, and I'm going to publish it to let my end user access to this new chart. So let's publish it, and you can see that here with the preview button, you will be able to access to this chart in tablet mode or in mobile mode. So that's really easy because we have a responsive solution that will help you to diffuse charts wherever you want. So in PDF, in data walls, in dashboard. And I can access to this chart in the production here, in the production part. So I can generate, for instance, an embed. It's what I want to do here. So I can access to the glossary, I can access to my filters and generate this web component. Thanks to this web component, I will be able to diffuse this chart even in my SaaS platform or customer portal. Let's copy it, and I'm going to switch into a new website, which not Toucan here. It's the CodePen application, and I'm going to paste this script. It's not going to work, and it's normal because I need an authorization. Your backend, for instance, can create this authorization thanks to the JSON Web Token technology, but I have prepared one token for this demo. I'm just going to paste this token here, and that's a token saying, okay, you can access to this chart, to this application as a viewer during a certain duration. So thanks to this token, I'm able here to access to this chart, and you can see that's a responsive design. I can, of course, interact with this chart and take my decision. So in a few minutes, I was able to create new queries on my database without any code, to create this chart and to embed this chart into a portal or a SaaS application. So, of course, you can use this chart in different kind of layouts. So you can use the same chart into a PDF, for instance, or into a dashboard. Let's click on the PDF report here. I'm going to click on this one, and it's going to be open in my browser here. So I can access to my PDF. I can schedule this PDF to my end user, and I can also take these charts and use them into dashboard. So you can, for instance, find this same dashboard on our website. So I can download this dashboard, I can change the values, I can change the colors, and once I will have published this dashboard, you will be able to see the same, for instance, here on our website in the product in action menu, and you will find this awesome dashboard on our website. So it's your turn to try Toucan, and if you have any question, of course, you can ask to the team. Bye-bye, see you later.